Impressive. I had lunch with Ben a couple weeks ago and he was telling me how much your legs had come up. He was not wrong.
Yeah.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So guys, channel membership is now live. Link is in the description and the first comment. Do check it out. That would really help support the channel. So let's start this video with an update from Blessing Avodibu, a guy who has been on the prep for quite some time now and who is gonna be competing in the month of June. So does that waist looks like a 28-inch waist, as Blessing himself claims? Well, if the vacuum counts, then that certainly is a very small waistline. And I am glad to see that even though Blessing pushed up to 325 pounds at the peak of his off-season, and that wasn't a pretty look at all by any standard, but the man has been chipping away slowly and steadily, and his aesthetics are also coming back, and that too very nicely. Now we know his legs are the main area of concern, and that has always been the biggest problem with him ever since he came onto the scene. The size on his quads, they have been the biggest problem. So let's just hope that he maintains all this new size, especially on his lower half, all the way till it's showtime. Because his quads, I have got to say, they are looking better than ever. So this is Blessing, very flat, very depleted, with minimal carbs. And that is why the chest, that isn't popping as of right now. But let's give the credit where it's due. If this time he shows up on the stage with that kind of balance, this guy is gonna be one hell of a competitor, because he has those gifts of having those very round and very 3D looking muscle bellies, especially up top. He has great tie-ins, and that too everywhere. Now for Blessing, it was a grave mistake by parting ways with someone like George Farrell. After a disappointing first ever Miss Olympia, he was just way too quick to jump the boat, and he landed with another coach, when in fact George Farrell was the one who brought him in the best shape of his life, and that too in two back-to-back shows back in 2022, the New York Pro and the Indy Pro, the only two shows that he has won so far. Nevertheless, this is looking to be a very exciting comeback for Blessing Avodibu. So the off time, that really paid off, and all that hard work in the off season, that is finally showing up, and I for one cannot wait to see his final package. Fuel your workouts with Hosstile supplements, one of the best isolate and pre-workout in the game, and use the code FAZI10 to get 10% extra discount.
You guys know on the Olympia stage I was about 235, so up about 10 pounds in there somewhere, depending on where we fed up, and I'm ready. I'm definitely in the same condition I was for the Olympia, but we're gonna push and reach some new levels and some new heights here.
Next up, we have an update from Martin-Fitzwater, who uploaded a very long YouTube video talking about how he's feeling 2 weeks out of this year's Pittsburgh Pro. Well, this isn't the same man whom you guys saw win his first ever pro show and placed top 4 at the Olympia last year. This is an all-around a very confident individual, a guy who feels like that if he shows up at his 100%, he can beat anyone.
I was still in that mode a little bit of like, I gotta chase these guys down. Now I'm like, the best Martin will beat those guys. I mean, you've seen it, the mental development, man. Like, honestly, that's probably been more fun than watching my physique progress.
So Martin feels like at his all-time best, he's gonna beat both Derek and Nick Walker. And I have got to say, that is exactly how Martin should feel 2 weeks out of one of the biggest shows of the year. So he might be 10 pounds heavier than what he weighed at the Olympia last year, but he's certainly going to drop some weight the night before the show, because the thing is, every bodybuilder does that. But take the word of Hunter Labrada, who watched him posing after that brutal leg workout, and he cannot help but notice that Martin's legs, they have grown a lot since last year, and that is kind of bad news for all the other major competitors.
Impressive. I had lunch with Ben a couple weeks ago and he was telling me how much your legs had come up. He was not wrong.
Yeah, bro, and he was like, this is fucking insane. I was like, bro, I'm telling you, all of January last year, I couldn't train legs.
Now keep in mind, Martin's quads at the Olympia last year, they were some of the best in that top 4. And we cannot imagine how crazy his X-frame and his V-taper is gonna look like with even bigger quads. Because his upper body, that's also looking way bigger in all the comparison pictures. So you have to go back the crab most muscular of Martin-Fitzwater next to the mutant Nick Walker at the New York Pro last year to truly appreciate Martin's insane muscle quality. And we all know how Martin can come in so goddamn peeled, front to back, top to bottom, and him taking the time off since Pro last year, skipping the Arnold, skipping FIBO Germany, that increases his chances of him nailing his peak 100% here.
Surprisingly, you would think between two of the biggest shows of my life, you would think that my blood markers would be pretty off, but actually they were really good. Might be actually my best blood work ever.
So this has to be the very first time the reigning Arnold champion and a former Miss Olympia decided to have an expert break down his blood work on camera. And keep in mind, this is the blood work that he just got done a couple of weeks back. The fact is, no one dares to take on such kind of challenge because there is a point where the bodybuilder is at his worst possible health phase, and that is because of multiple factors: the gear, the PEDs, the stress of hard training, and the most important factor in case of Derek is that he has been prepping for months and months now, and he did a very long prep for the Olympia last year as well. So it's actually surprising that he decided to go through his blood work, and that too on camera, considering all these factors. And this could be very scary, but the guy breaking it down, he was also so surprised on how someone, a pro bodybuilder with that kind of muscle mass, he's off by only a few margin on his blood work when he's this close to the show.
Your liver's in really great shape. I'm really surprised your testosterone levels aren't higher. I mean, they're great where they are.
So Derek himself claimed that this is his best blood work to date. Now this does open up the gate for him to consider doing the New York Pro, as that is the show, which is just 1 week after the Pittsburgh Pro, and that is also a huge payday. Now we have to keep in mind this is something that a legend like Jay Cutler also said, that Chris Aceto is very smart on deciding how much he can push a certain someone, and Derek still has room for so much improvements even after winning the Arnold this year.
A little, outside of those ranges, which is obviously self-explanatory, but the highest that I've seen to date is probably around 4,800.
What?
Yeah, and
Bro,
they don't look like you.
I was thinking like 2,400 or maybe 3,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now whether you're a fan of Derek or not, this gesture must be appreciated. More and more pro bodybuilders out there, they're willing to be more open about the health stuff, and this can help out a lot of people.
Absolutely, man. I mean, I've been looking at your blood work for many years, and this is the best I've ever seen it look.
Literally.
And this is the best I've seen.
And that's
you.
no BS, man.
Yeah.
Everybody's there. Of course he's saying that. I was shocked.
So we have all seen the great Kevin Levroni do 100 pounds dumbbell curls from his video from the Battle of the Olympia back in 2002. That was an epic moment, and that has been used in bodybuilding motivational videos many times. So here you guys are witnessing Stephane Matala curling those 90 pounds dumbbells for actually very good reps. So that right there is extremely impressive stuff by Stephane, and this shows how strong this guy is and how pumped up he's feeling right now. And for those of you guys who do not know, he is at his off-season peak right now. So no wonder his arms, which were already one of the strongest point on his physique even as a classic physique competitor, they are looking so full-blown at the moment. So Stephane's men's open bodybuilding debut, that has to be one of the most anticipated thing that's gonna happen in pro bodybuilding circuit this year. So he made this timely decision of not making his physique suffer anymore after winning the Portugal Pro last year. And although he could have made weight one way or another, and he could have switched over to the men's open bodybuilding after his classic physique Olympia debut, but all he would have done was waste another few months trying to fit in a category where he never belonged. So Stephane has been looking crazy impressive, very round, very lean, at 280 plus pounds. So Patrick Tour, he's gonna get him absolutely ripped and peeled out of his mind. And this could very well be the start of a great men's open career. So the 212 division this year, that is probably gonna be the least exciting division this year, because you are looking at a man who is gonna become 3 times Olympia champion this year. No questions asked. The fact is, Keone Pearson can announce that he's gonna be doing the men's open bodybuilding this year. And this physique right here, that is gonna scare the hell out of many top pros, even in the men's open at the Olympia level. That is how good this man is looking right now. So notice when Keone is about to do the front double biceps, and the man just keeps opening up, and up to an extent where you literally say, what the hell just happened? Definitely one of the craziest front double biceps in the whole of IFBB right now. And when you take all those things into consideration, that makes that front double bicep so goddamn good. The small waistline, humongous arms, the quad sweep, the lat insertions. The scary part is that the man just keeps on getting better and better. His quads are looking improved, From the front end, I am sure they're trying their absolute best to grow them even more, to create more of those action figure-like proportions. Now another scary part is that Keone has another 2 months in the push phase of growing to do before he starts the prep for the Olympia this year. And talk about maintaining such kind of lean physique while being at the heaviest ever off-season weight. That is beyond impressive. That is just nuts. And that just goes to show us how dedicated this guy is with his diet, training and cardio. So last year, when he won the Olympia with perfect scores, he was given this task to put on more density on his back, especially in his upper back. And the back overall is looking much better than last year. So last year he lost that back double biceps against Sean. And do not be surprised if Keone flips that around too, and he wins all the mandatories, even against Sean. So when the lines in those quads and the hamstrings, they are looking that deep during the offseason, you know that is a whole different level. So cannot wait to see him in the men's open, because that is an eventuality at this point. And that is something which is gonna happen sooner or later. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.